I have to admit, saying these words out loud still feels a little surreal. I'm getting married this November. It's a sentence that carries a kind of gravity, a sense of quiet awe. You can plan companies, design rockets, build cars, even dream of life on other planets. But there's something about deciding to spend your life one person that feels both infinitely simple and deeply profound. It's the kind of decision that isn't about ambition or metrics. It's about connection, trust, and the courage to share your future with someone else. When I first realized that I was ready for this, it wasn't a single moment of clarity or a grand cinematic scene. It was a collection of small, almost unremarkable moments, conversations that ran long into the night, shared silences that somehow said everything, laughter that came effortlessly. I think love, when it's real, sneaks up on you quietly. You don't always see it coming. One day you just realize that this person has become your anchor, your mirror, and your favorite adventure all at once. Standing here, reflecting on it, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions. Excitement, humility, and yes, even a little bit of fear. Because commitment isn't something you enter into lightly. It's not about a single day in November. It's about every day after that. It's about choosing the same person again and again through change, challenge, and growth. And that's what makes this so extraordinary. It's not a leap into the unknown. It's a deliberate step into something real, something lasting. There's also a sense of wonder that comes with this moment. We live in a world that's obsessed with progress, faster, smarter, bigger. But love reminds us that not everything meaningful can be engineered. You can't code chemistry, you can't blueprint intimacy, and you can't schedule emotion into a project timeline. Love is the human element that makes everything else worth building. It gives purpose to the pursuit, context to success, and warmth to even the coldest logic. When I think about this November, I think about more than a wedding. I think about a promise, not just to another person, but to the future we're going to create together. A partnership that will evolve, adapt, and grow the same way anything meaningful does. There's a quiet kind of courage in that. It's not the loud, dramatic kind of bravery people associate with risk-taking or innovation. It's the everyday kind, showing up, communicating honestly, forgiving quickly, and celebrating small wins together. And there's something deeply grounding about that. In a life that often feels like it's moving at light speed, love has a way of slowing things down, of reminding you what actually matters. It reminds you that success isn't just about what you build. It's also about who you build it with. And that realization, for me, is more profound than any technological breakthrough or professional milestone. Because no matter how far humanity goes, or how complex our systems become, the fundamental truth remains: we are built to connect. So, as I stand here today sharing this announcement, I don't just feel like I'm crossing a personal milestone. I feel like I'm standing at the intersection of past and future. Everything that has shaped me leading into everything that will define me next. And I know this much: the best journeys aren't solo missions. They're shared ones. This November isn't just a date on a calendar. It's the beginning of a lifelong experiment in trust, empathy, and growth. It's about creating a future that's not just efficient or visionary, but deeply human. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the most revolutionary thing you can do in life is to love fully, fearlessly, and forever. Because at the end of it all, love isn't just the greatest adventure. It's the only one that truly lasts. Every journey has a starting point, a spark that sets things in motion. And looking back, it's almost funny how something so small can end up reshaping the course of your entire life. When I think about how this all began, it wasn't dramatic or cinematic. It was simple, almost ordinary. A conversation that stretched longer than expected. A shared curiosity about the world. A moment that felt strangely effortless. You don't always know when life is introducing you to your future, but when you look back, the pattern becomes clear. Every decision, every encounter, every coincidence starts to make sense. At first, it was just curiosity. Two people exchanging ideas, challenging each other's perspectives, sharing what they believed about life, work, and meaning. There's something magnetic about finding someone who doesn't just listen to your thoughts, but expands them, someone who doesn't just agree, but questions in a way that sharpens your mind and softens your heart at the same time. That's rare, and when you find it, you feel it immediately. It's like discovering a new orbit, one that feels stable, natural, inevitable. The early days were filled with energy, laughter, and a sense of exploration. But more than that, they were filled with honesty. Real connection doesn't thrive on perfection. It grows through vulnerability. Those small, unfiltered moments where you let someone see who you really are without the armor. I've learned that love isn't built through grand gestures or flawless presentations. It's built through truth. It's built when you say, "This is who I am," and the other person says, "That's exactly who I was hoping to find." There were moments of uncertainty, too. Times when life's responsibilities and ambitions made it hard to balance everything. Building something meaningful, whether it's a company or a relationship, takes patience, resilience, and a lot of communication. There were late nights, long discussions, compromises that didn't come easily. But through all of it, there was one constant, a shared belief that what we were creating together was worth it. That belief became our foundation, stronger than doubt, louder than distraction. As time went on, the connection deepened in ways I couldn't have predicted. It wasn't just about shared interests or mutual respect. It was about rhythm, the kind you only find with someone who sees the world through a similar lens, yet challenges you to look beyond it. It's a balance between comfort and growth, stability and evolution. And when you find that balance, it changes you. You start to see your own life differently. You start to realize that love, in its truest form, isn't about completing each other. It's about amplifying each other. The journey to this moment has been full of lessons. I've learned that love isn't static. It's dynamic like energy. It shifts, it adapts, it evolves. Some days it feels like calm gravity, pulling you gently back to center. Other days, it feels like propulsion, the kind that pushes you to be better, to dream bigger, to keep moving forward even when things get hard. And that's the kind of love that endures. The kind that grows alongside you, instead of staying frozen in time. Looking back now, every challenge, every success, every unexpected turn led here, to this November, to this new chapter. And it makes perfect sense. Because when two paths align, it isn't by accident. It's the result of choices of growth, of moments that demanded faith, even when the outcome wasn't guaranteed. So when I think about the journey to this moment, I don't see a series of lucky breaks or coincidences. I see a story of alignment between two people, between purpose and emotion, between what was and what's next. And as I stand on the edge of this next chapter, I'm reminded that life's greatest milestones aren't achieved alone. They're built together, step by step, through trust, curiosity, and courage. And maybe that's the most remarkable part of all. Realizing that the greatest journey you'll ever take isn't the one that carries you to the stars, but the one that leads you home. When you spend enough time pushing the limits of what's possible, you start to realize that very few things in life truly matter. Most of what we chase, success, innovation, recognition, it all fades with time. But what doesn't fade, what doesn't lose meaning, is the connection you build with another person. That's why this relationship matters so deeply to me. It's not because it's convenient or ideal or easy. It's because it's real. It's grounded in authenticity, in trust, in a shared sense of purpose that feels bigger than either of us alone. From the beginning, what stood out wasn't just how well we got along, but how we challenged each other. It's easy to find someone who agrees with you, but finding someone who sees the world differently, who forces you to stretch your thinking, to look at life from another angle, that's something else entirely. This relationship has become a constant reminder that growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when two people learn to push, to listen, and to evolve together. There's a kind of balance we found that I can only describe as dynamic equilibrium. It's not perfect harmony every day. It's motion, it's energy, it's a steady exchange of ideas, humor, honesty, and sometimes disagreement. But through that, there's always respect. Respect for each other's individuality, for each other's ambitions, for the things that make us different. That respect is the glue. It holds everything together when life gets unpredictable. And unpredictability, that's the one constant in life. I've seen how fast things can change, how plans can collapse, how expectations can shift overnight. But what's remarkable is how love can remain steady through all that. It becomes a stabilizer, not by removing uncertainty, but by giving you someone to face it with. It's the difference between fighting chaos alone and building order together. That's what makes this relationship meaningful. It's not about escaping life's turbulence. It's about navigating it as a team. There's also an unspoken understanding between us, a shared belief in something greater than ourselves. Whether it's a dream, a purpose, or just a vision of what the future could be, that belief connects us. We don't have identical goals, but our values align in a way that creates momentum. It's like two parallel trajectories, different but moving in the same direction, occasionally intersecting to create something neither could achieve alone. What I've learned from this relationship is that love is not about dependency, it's about amplification. It's about becoming more of yourself, not less. The right person doesn't dim your fire. They help you burn brighter, they don't complete you. They remind you that you were already whole, and then they walk beside you as you both keep evolving. That kind of partnership is rare. It's something you protect, nurture, and never take for granted. There are moments when I catch myself thinking about how easily life could have taken a different path. A missed opportunity, a decision made differently, a moment delayed, and maybe we wouldn't have met, but we did. And that makes this connection feel almost like a miracle of timing. Out of all the chaos and probability that defines existence, two people finding alignment, real, lasting alignment, feels like the most profound thing of all. As I look toward November, and everything it represents, I keep coming back to one simple truth. This relationship matters because it reminds me what it means to be human, to love and be loved, to share laughter after a long day, to have someone who listens not just to your words, but to the silence between them. It's in those small, almost invisible moments that the depth of love reveals itself, not through grand expressions, but through quiet consistency. At the core of it, this relationship isn't about perfection or performance, it's about partnership, the kind that makes you believe that no matter how uncertain the world becomes, there's at least one thing you can count on. Someone who sees you for who you are and still chooses to stay every single day, because when everything else fades, the noise, the success, the chaos, what remains, what truly endures, is love built on respect, courage, and the unwavering belief that two people together can create something far greater than either could alone. Marriage, to me, isn't just a ceremony or a social construct. It's a declaration of intent. It's saying to another person, I choose you, not just for who you are today, but for who we'll both become over time. It's a commitment not just to love, but to evolve together, to face the unpredictable and the ordinary with the same sense of purpose. In a world that changes faster than ever before, marriage feels like an anchor, not one that holds you back, but one that keeps you grounded while you explore everything else life has to offer. I've always believed that partnership, in its purest form, is the most advanced form of collaboration. It's two minds, two hearts, two entirely different sets of experiences, learning to operate as one cohesive unit without losing their individuality. It's not about control or compromise. It's about synergy. The idea that two people can create something together that neither could have created alone. When you think about it, that's the essence of innovation too, combining elements that seem different, even incompatible, to create something new, something greater. Marriage is that, but on the most personal, human scale. What makes marriage so meaningful isn't just the promise of love, it's the practice of it. It's showing up every day with intention. It's understanding that love isn't a constant emotion, it's a daily decision. There will be days when everything feels effortless, and days when it doesn't. But marriage means showing up for both. It's saying, even when it's hard, I'm here. Even when it's uncertain, I believe in us. That's what gives it depth. That's what transforms it from romance into resilience. To me, marriage is also about building a shared future, one that's rooted in respect and possibility. It's about creating an environment where both people can grow individually and together, where ambition and affection coexist, where failure doesn't divide, but teaches, where success isn't just celebrated individually, but amplified collectively. That's a rare kind of partnership, one that not only survives change but thrives on it. There's also something profoundly hopeful about marriage. It's an act of optimism in a world that often leans toward cynicism. It's choosing to believe that two imperfect people can build something enduring, something that transcends time and circumstance, and that belief, that faith in the unknown, is, I think, one of the most courageous things a person can do. Because love isn't about guarantees, it's about trust, it's about building something strong enough to hold both joy and struggle without breaking apart. I see marriage as a long-term experiment in understanding. Two people trying to figure out life together, learning, unlearning, and relearning what it means to be human, to be kind, to be patient. You can't automate it, you can't optimize it, you can only live it. It's raw, unpredictable, and yet somehow it's the most stabilizing force in existence, because it reminds us that beyond all the technology, progress, and noise, our greatest need remains connection. In marriage, you create your own ecosystem, a shared universe defined by trust, laughter, and purpose. You design it together, maintain it together, and sometimes repair it together. It's work, but it's the kind of work that gives meaning to everything else. It's the quiet view behind the ambition, the reason behind the long hours, the anchor beneath the vision. It gives your life texture, balance, and context. When I think about what marriage means to me, I see it as a promise, not a perfection, but a persistence. It's a lifelong dialogue between two people who are willing to keep learning each other over and over again. It's the recognition that love isn't static, it's iterative. It grows through feedback, through patience, through time. And maybe that's the most powerful part, realizing that while the world around us may evolve faster than we can comprehend, the foundation of human connection remains timeless. Marriage is a reminder that amidst all the innovation and exploration, what truly drives us forward isn't just discovery, it's devotion. Because at its core, marriage isn't about finding someone to live with. It's about finding someone you can't imagine living without and choosing them consciously and completely every single day. If there's one truth I've come to appreciate more deeply as this moment approaches, it's that no great journey is ever taken alone. Every milestone, every achievement, every turning point in life is quietly supported by a network of people who believed in you long before you fully believed in yourself. As I stand here preparing to step into marriage this November, I can't help but feel immense gratitude for the people who helped shape this path. My family, my friends, and everyone who stood beside me through the chaos, the challenges, and the dreams. Family has always been the foundation. They're the first ones who teach you what love looks like, not through words, but through action. They're the ones who shape your sense of responsibility, resilience, and empathy. When I look back, I realize how much of who I am today was built on those early lessons. The long talks, the encouragement during failure, and sometimes even the tough love that forced me to grow. Family grounds you. They're the constant force reminding you where you came from, even when your eyes are fixed on where you're going. There's something profoundly humbling about realizing that so much of your strength comes from the people who raised you, guided you, or simply stood by you when things didn't make sense. It's easy to think of success as a solo pursuit, but the truth is no one achieves anything meaningful alone. Whether it was a word of advice at the right time, a quiet act of support, or just someone believing in me when I didn't, those moments added up, and they became the invisible scaffolding that held everything together. Then there are the friends, the chosen family, the ones who stuck around through the highs and lows, who didn't care about titles or accomplishments, but simply valued the person beneath it all. Real friends don't measure you by what you achieve. They measure you by how you show up, how you listen, how you care. They've been there to laugh at the absurd moments, to challenge the overthinking, to bring balance when the world tilted too far in one direction. They've reminded me, time and again, that life isn't meant to be endured. It's meant to be shared. To the people who've supported me, mentors, colleagues, and even those who offered criticism that made me think differently, I'm deeply grateful. Because every perspective, whether comforting or challenging, helped shape who I am today. Growth rarely comes from comfort, it comes from friction. And those who've stood beside me, questioned me, or inspired me in unexpected ways have all contributed to that growth. What makes this particular moment even more meaningful is realizing how interconnected it all is. Love doesn't exist in isolation, it's nurtured by the environment around it. The values you learn from family, the empathy you develop from friendships, the perspective you gain from mentors, all of it feeds into how you love, how you communicate, and how you build a partnership. Marriage, in many ways, is the culmination of all those lessons coming together, a living reflection of everyone who's ever invested time, care, or belief in you. As I move into this next chapter, I carry with me all those influences, all those voices that helped shape my perspective on what it means to live meaningfully. I carry the laughter from shared memories, the guidance from people wiser than me, and the love that's been given freely, without expectation. These are the things that give life depth, the invisible forces that turn experience into wisdom, and ambition into compassion. So, to everyone who has been part of this journey, thank you. Thank you for standing beside me when things were uncertain, for celebrating the wins and forgiving the mistakes, for reminding me to stay grounded and human even in moments of acceleration. You've been the constant reminder that progress means nothing without people to share it with. And as I look toward this November, I realize that marriage isn't just about two people coming together. It's also about honoring everyone who helped us get here. Those who taught us to love, to persevere, to dream. It's a collective achievement built quietly through countless acts of kindness, patience, and faith. Because in the end, no matter how far we go or how high we aim, the people who lift us, guide us, and believe in us are the true measure of what it means to succeed, and the greatest reason to be thankful. As I look ahead to this November, to the moment that will mark the beginning of a new chapter, I feel something that's hard to put into words. A mixture of calm, gratitude, and a kind of excitement that feels different from anything I've experienced before. It's not the adrenaline that comes from launching something new or chasing a bold idea. It's quieter than that. It's steadier. It's the kind of excitement that comes from knowing you're stepping into something that's both deeply personal and profoundly meaningful. A future built on love, trust, and shared purpose. What lies ahead isn't just a wedding day, it's the start of a lifelong collaboration. And I use that word intentionally, collaboration, because marriage, to me, is the ultimate creative partnership. It's not static, it's constantly evolving. It's two people learning to adapt together, to dream together, to grow through the inevitable friction that life brings. It's not about finding perfection, it's about building progress. The same principles that guide innovation apply to love. Stay curious, communicate openly, and never stop improving the design. Looking ahead, I see a future filled with challenges. And that's not something to fear. Every meaningful pursuit comes with uncertainty. But that's what makes it exciting. Life without uncertainty would be predictable, and predictability leaves no room for discovery. In this next chapter, I don't expect everything to be smooth or effortless. I expect it to be real, full of moments that test patience, demand understanding, and require laughter to get through. But that's the beauty of it. The ups and downs are what give life its texture, its richness. When I think about the years to come, I see more than just milestones. I see quiet mornings, shared conversations, adventures that go off plan, but end up better than expected. I see new dreams being born. Not just mine or hers, but ours. That's what partnership does. It expands the definition of possible. It gives meaning to ambition. It reminds you that success isn't just measured by what you achieve individually, but by what you build together. There's something empowering about stepping into this new phase of life with confidence. Not the kind of confidence that comes from knowing all the answers, but from trusting that whatever happens, you'll figure it out together. Marriage isn't about eliminating risk. It's about embracing it with faith that your connection is strong enough to handle whatever comes. That kind of shared confidence is what gives you the courage to face the unknown, to take bigger risks, and to live with greater purpose. And then there's joy, not the fleeting kind that comes and goes with circumstance, but the kind that's sustained by gratitude. The joy of having someone who truly understands you. The joy of building a life that feels intentional. The joy of knowing that, no matter what direction the world spins in, there's a person standing beside you who believes in the same future. That kind of joy is rare, and it's powerful. It fuels everything else: creativity, resilience, hope. As I stand here thinking about what comes next, I'm filled with appreciation for how far this journey has come. From the first conversation to this moment of anticipation. Every decision, every challenge, every shared experience has led to this point, and it's taught me that love, in its truest form, isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. A conscious, ongoing choice to believe in another person, to see the best in them, to build something lasting together. So, as November approaches, I look ahead not with anxiety, but with clarity. Because this next step isn't about changing who I am, it's about expanding who I can become through partnership. It's about walking forward with someone who doesn't just share my dreams, but inspires me to dream better. And in that sense, marriage isn't the end of a journey, it's the launch of a new one. A journey defined not by perfection but by progress, not by fear but by faith, not by the unknown but by the promise that, together, we can make it extraordinary. Because the future, when built on love, doesn't just look bright, it becomes limitless.